Welcome to Sweden, the land of lakes and boats. A gorgeous summer setting for round 3 of the European Top Fuel Drag Series. We're heading off to Mantorp Park. It's about 240 kilometres south of Stockholm, right in the heart of Sweden. And the weather this weekend is absolutely superb. Wonderful for the traveller and the holiday maker, but maybe not quite so good for the ardent drag racer because it's over 35 degrees on the racetrack. Our racers, well, they're really going to feel this summer warmth in those 7-layer fire suits that they have to wear. The only way that you can keep cool is to take as much clothing off when you're not racing. Here's Viveca Averstedt. Viveca was our #1 qualifier on Saturday with a 5:24 second run at 415 kilometres per hour. So that's a great start for her and well deserved after all of the hard work her team has put in this year. In the #2 spot was Sweden's Tony Bryntesson with a 5:37 at 422 kilometres per hour. It's his first time out racing this year, and he won this event in 1994. Our #3 man, Tommy Happinen from Finland, qualified with a 5:45 at 405 kilometres per hour. And the #4 spot of 5:64 went to the rookie driver this year, Jens Nybo from Denmark. Well, Jens was a surprise winner in Finland at the last outing of the Top Fuelers, running 5:17, so watch out, everybody. Jens Nybo is about. Here's Peter Lantz, the man in our last spot here and the 1994 champion, not really having much luck and won't be helping Jens Nybo at this meeting as he was in Finland. So straight into the first round, and it's Tommy Happinen against the Great Dane Jens Nybo. Now, Jens is currently leading the points in the championship. So what's going to happen here this weekend?
Jens Nybo, you still glowing from that win in Finland last week?
Yes, that's for sure.
Now, you've qualified in #4 position with a 5:64. Things aren't going as well as they were in Finland, are they, today?
We have to buy a new engine, and we couldn't get the camshaft we want, so we can tune the fuel this way we want to do it.
But you're currently running #1 in points. That's pretty good for a rookie for 1995.
I think so.
Now, you meet Tommy Happinen in the first round. You've raced him before?
Yeah, I raced him 2 times and we beat him 2 times, so I hope it will be the 3rd time now.
Well, here we go. Putting these two side by side, theoretically the 2 rookie drivers, but what they've got to watch here is getting perfect traction on this very, very hot day, and they're away from the start line, and immediately Jens Nybo goes up in smoke. The crew absolutely beside themselves with pain there, and they see their man lose out to Tommy Happinen, who goes through into the next round. The next race is an all-Swedish affair. Tony Bryntesson against Peter Lantz. Lantz has it all to do in this race after an engine-destroying qualifying run.
Now, you've qualified #5 at a 5:64 and you've worked all night until 5 in the morning. How are you going to feel when you get into the car this morning to race?
I don't know. As long as I can stay awake for 2 minutes on the run, I'll be happy with that. And Morgan's he's gonna be awake. That's fun. But it's terrible. If we're gonna get through the first round and we need to go all the way on to the finals, it's gonna be tough for this crew today.
Now, you've got Tony Bryntesson in the first round too. You've raced him many times before. He's looks to be in good form. He hasn't raced this year either, and he's done a 5:37.
Yeah, he got a solid combination here, and it's always quick on the tree. So he's gonna be incredibly tough to beat. So what can we do? Our best.
So coming up from behind is not what you're used to.
Nah, sometimes they have to do it. I mean, this is racing. Anything can happen.
Well, his opponent, Tony Bryntesson, on the other hand, is really in excellent shape here this weekend.
Tommy Bryntesson, this first round for you is going to be a dead repeat of last year's World Finals up against Peter Lantz. Now, we haven't seen you out this year, and you've done really well. You've qualified #2 with a 5:37. Things seem to be going pretty well.
Yeah, it works good, and we did that right straight off the trailer, and we run our old combination since Mantorp last year, so it feels good.
Nothing broken, no parts, no problems?
Well, something. We have done some pistons and a blower, but we fixed it.
But you haven't been up all night like Peter Lance?
No.
So feeling a little bit better than him today?
I hope so.
Good luck.
I hope he's nervous.
Well, this is the first time that we've seen both of these drivers in this particular class this year. Now, they know one another so well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens on the start line between these two. Peter Lance breaks. The Optimum Batteries man is out on the start line. Tony Bryntesson goes up in smoke, but he wins quite comfortably, and that is going to be one unhappy driver there. Peter Lance pushed back beyond the start line. He's out of the racing this weekend. Well, that run from Tony Bryntesson gave him a timing ticket of 6.76. Really a testament to the fact that this hot weather is playing havoc with the engine settings. Even he went up in smoke, but he had to keep the power in. He didn't know how far behind him this man was. And Peter Lance, a very, very unhappy man. Here's our #1 qualifier. This is Viveca Averstedt.
Okay, Viveca, you've done so well here in your home country. You've qualified #1 at Mantorp Park with a 5:24. You must be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I'm really happy because this is my home track, and last year we had so much unlucky, so I mean, I'm very happy.
Now, you've got a bye run into the first round, so that's good for you because it gives you time to do a bit of testing and tuning. And
yeah, because we have our problem is that we have to back that off so much because not to smoke the tires or tire vibrations. So
now, you told me you dropped a few cylinders yesterday in qualifying.
yeah, when we ran 5:24, we lost 1 cylinder the whole way. So it was not a perfect run, so I hope we can solve the problem today. Not in the first round, but of course in the second round.
So you may have a very long day of racing ahead of you.
Yeah.
Well, she certainly looks sweet and pretty and petite, but that lady has run the fastest we have ever seen in Top Fuel in Europe. Believe it or not, a 5:05. The lady knocks on the door of the 4-second run. But here at Mantorp Park, in front of a home crowd, the conditions are not really up to such fast runs. It's far too hot. There's not a breath of air, and traction is really, really hard to find. Her crew chief, John Wright's combination, hopefully will work for her in this next essential round. But she is just going to do a 60-foot launch here just to see whether the car is working properly. We will see what happens in the next round of Top Fuel. Meanwhile, we move on. Not only are we looking at Top Fuel this weekend, but we're looking at their lesser cousins, younger brothers maybe, Top Alcohol. Making a welcome return to drag racing after a bad foot injury in an accident at Sandapod, this lady. This is Finland's Anita Michaela. Now, she's up against fellow Finn, Juha Leppänen. Now, a couple of weeks ago, Anita was running back down into the 5s again. She's going to be a hard lady to beat in 95, and indeed she takes the win, 6.42. I bet she's happy to be back.
Of course, I'm very happy about that, but something happened in the first round, and something got broken. But, well, I'll count on my crew that they can fix the car for the next round.
Now, you physically are in good shape. What's the story with your foot now?
I can walk already quite normal way, but of course after the day it gets tired and it gets a bit achy, but there again I can race already. I can't drive ordinary car, but I can drive the race car because it specially feels for me now.
So we saw you standing on the start line looking a bit unhappy watching another guy in the driving seat of the Burkaps Dragons Up, but he did quite well for you in Finland.
He did actually so well that I was wondering if they are taking me back anymore.
Well, we'll see what happens to her and the Top Fuelers in round 2 after the break. Stay with us. We're here at Mantorp Park in Sweden for round 2 of the European Top Alcohol Championship, putting this lady, Anita Michaela, the original Flying Finn, against the funny car of Mickey Fogstedt, also from Finland. Now, Anita was saying earlier on she had some problems with her car, and obviously as we watch this run, those problems have not abated. She's still not got them sorted out, and Mickey gets to the top end first, but Anita will be back in Hockenheim. Okay, we're into the next round of Top Fuel. Viveca Averstedt preparing for her run. Tommy Happonen, the Iceman, sitting there real cool. What's going to happen in the next round?
Okay, Viveca, now you just did a 60-foot then as a bit of a test, and you dropped another cylinder. Your car just hates them, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't know why, and it's always the same cylinder, number 7. So it was good for us that it was a buy run, so we could, because I know that the crew, they change things. I don't know what it was, but to see if we solve the problem, but it's still there, so I hope that they can find it for the next round.
And the track is not in very good shape, because I see in that very small run there you've lifted the rubber off the tyres already.
Maybe it's the heat, I think. It's so hot today.
There's just not a breath of oxygen in the air at all, is there?
No. So we will see. I don't know what they are going to do, but
Now
they have to make something.
Now you've got your old friend Tommy Happonen in the next round.
Yes.
You hate racing him.
No, not hate. I mean, I know that he has problem to stage, but I think he sold it now because he had problem with the clutch. So, and I talked to him after the round in Finland, so...
Taught him a bit of a lesson, did you?
Yes.
Now, we don't know what the run's going to be like because the conditions are hard for everybody, not just you.
No, it's the same for all of us.
Now, your car's done a 505 before, but there's going to be no chance of seeing any decent runs here today because of the conditions?
No, I don't. To be honest, I don't think so, because we have backed off too much power to run 505.
So really, the more powerful cars on a day like this, on a track like that, are at a bit of a disadvantage.
Yeah.
So you'll be at a disadvantage over Tommy in the next race.
Sorry?
It'll be you who's in trouble in the next race, not Tommy.
Yeah, we will see.
Okay, thanks, Viveca.
Why is it I don't believe that lady thinks she's going to be in trouble in this round? Here she is. They're both going through the burnouts. Tommy Happonen in the SO Ultron car, the Valvoline car of the fastest lady in Europe, Viveca Averstedt. Up to the start line. Now, this is where it all counts. Start line reaction has to be really on form to take the win here, and it is Viveca Averstedt who takes the win. 5:25, shuts down a 5:63 run from Tommy Happonen. Wow, Happonen out on the first round. This is Tony Bryntesson. Let's hear his comments on that last race against Peter Lance and the fact that he's got a bye run into the final.
Now, Tony, you went up in smoke then, but you just refused to let it die, and you just kept hammering it. Why was that?
Well, I had to do it because I didn't know what happened to Peter. I just look at the left and see if he come by, but I just stay on the throttle and backpedal it and put it down to the finish line.
Just to make sure you got there first.
Yep, that's true.
And now you've got a bye run now into the final, so another final for you.
Yeah, that's true. Nice. And I don't know who we're going to meet yet because Viveca and Tommy meet.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, and we're going to go out and check and do a 60-foot time. We don't going to go on full throttle.
So was there no problems in that last run? It was just too much power because there's just no air around.
Yeah,
it's so hot.
Too much power, and we didn't believe that it should go up on the smoke the tires, but the track wasn't really so good that we thought.
Right, so an easy run through to the final then for you?
Yeah, why not? Should have that sometime.
Not bad on your first time out for the year.
Yeah, very good.
Well, remember, he's only going to do a 60-foot checkout pass. He's got no need to put in a huge run and break parts. If he stages, well, he's then in the final against Viveca. But that 60-foot run will tell his crew chief an awful lot about the way the car is performing. And that car is performing well. Now, before we go into all of the finals, let's have a chat to Viveca Averstedt's crew chief, John Wright, for this week's Tech Talk.
What I want to know is, we're so used to talking about drag racing and how much power you're putting into the engines. This weekend seems to be all you're doing is taking power out of the engine. Now, can you explain why that is so difficult and why you're having such a hard time here today?
Well, the problem with a Valvoline car is that it's built and tuned to run down in the 480s. Is how we build it over in the States. Now, this track is, I believe we set a track record here yesterday, 524. Now, to get that percentage of power out of the car, is very difficult. Fuel cars are based on two things, heat and load. You take the load away.
Load meaning weight.
Load meaning weight, either from the amount of traction you're trying to get out of the car, or with this one, the wing we put into it. There's a lot of factors involved with loading. But the basic combination of load and power has to be kept in a balance all the time. We've got an overbalance of power here, so we're trying to back it down way beyond anything we've ever tried to do before. And
is that because this car has got so much power compared to the other cars here? I mean, you've run a 505 with this car. Now, no other car in Europe's done that.
No, and we really, I guess, on that 505, that wasn't even a full pass. We were looking at 900 feet with power on. So.
And you had a really low mile per hour.
Yeah, she was cruising. Yeah, just
a Sunday drive.
Just a tryout pass. That's all it was down to, that particular run. The biggest problem we have over here is we can make more horsepower in this part of the hemisphere than we can over in the US. The problem on the other side is that very few of the tracks are capable of holding the sort of horsepower that we have. Mantorp is a tricky track, very tricky. It comes on for a short period of time during the day.
Coming on meaning comes good.
It comes to a point where we can actually get hold of it. We ran yesterday afternoon. You know, the launch was good. 60 foot was down to 0.87. And we took a gamble that we'd be able to do that, and it paid off. You know, we ran the track record. But
what is it about dropping cylinders all the time? Why does that happen?
That is back to heat and load. As soon as you take load off the car, there's so much fuel goes through these motors that the instant they stop working hard, they cool. As soon as it cools, you can't spark the fuel, and that's when you see the vapor out of the exhaust pipe. Cylinder's dead. The other cylinders then try and compensate for the load that they're putting onto those. And two things normally happen. You start burning pistons, burning heads, and on a bad day you'll blow the crank clear out the bottom of the car.
Which you've done before?
We've been there, yeah. We've done that one.
Now, what about the tyres? Can you explain why we saw in that run all the rubber lifted off the middle of your tyres? Has that got to do with the traction as well?
The track isn't quite back yet. I mean, we were talking about an early morning pass there. We just wanted to see what it would do. We knew we had a bye first round, and we just treated it as another qualifying session, just try to see what it would do, basically.
So how do you work it out? Is it trial and error? Or you have some system? Is it intuition? Is it computer? Is it what Viveca tells you?
The computer helps. Yeah, I mean, we've got the top-line computer in there. It gives us a lot of feedback. But that only tells us what we've done after the run. You know, prior to the run, trial and error is probably too basic a way of putting it. So I mean, we keep logs of every run we ever make, any changes ever made, all the air's always logged per run. So you just look back through where you've been and experience as well, I guess, to a degree.
Interesting words of wisdom there from crew chief John Wright, and of course his experiences got that team right the way through into the final of Top Fuel. However, we are now into the final of Top Alcohol. And the final is between this man, the dragster driver Tony Dongis from Sweden, and the man from Finland, Mickey Fulstedt, in this funny car. Now, Mickey took out the 1994 champ and Euro record holder Anita Michaela, and also local hero Michael Kagarat, who lives in Linköping, just down the road from this track. But he's here against Tony Dongis, and it's Dongis who takes the win quite comfortably to the top end first. The crew are absolutely elated. We haven't seen Tony Dongis in Great Britain for quite some time, and it's great to see him back in form. You want to get in a Top Fuel funny car? Get your husband to lift you in. Håkan Averstedt lifted in Viveca. Now, this lady hasn't been in a final for a couple of years. How does she feel?
Have you ever raced Bryntesson before in a final?
No, never.
Because he's a pretty tough guy to beat, isn't he?
I know that.
Nerves of steel.
Yeah. And I tried when you stage procedure yesterday and today, therefore my reaction time was so bad. But I think I should go back to the normal routine.
Now, you also did a test run in that last run, a 60 foot, like you mentioned before. You were having problems, you dropped a couple of cylinders in the first round. Is
Yeah.
everything going to plan now? It seemed to be a good run.
Yeah, I mean, 5:25 it was a good run, but of course the top speed wasn't so good. But it's because I clicked off early, because this track is so short.
Well, Tony's having problems too, so
Yeah.
you think you got a pretty good chance, I would say.
Oh, I really hope so. I really hope this is going to be my day.
Well, Tony Bryntesson just getting himself nice and comfortable. He knows he's got a mountain to climb here in this final. Up against the fastest lady, remember, in Europe. Side by side, these two Swedish drivers coming through for the Top Fuel final. First one out, Tony Bryntesson. Now, Tony, remember, won this race back in 1994. Back on form again he is, but really against a lady who is looking for the win here. He has got it all to do. Both cars sounding and looking very, very strong indeed. And Håkan Averstedt, once again, the perfect crew chief, bringing his wife back down onto those two rubber stripes that she left when she was doing the burnout. Here we go. Up into the staging beams that control the start line. Bryntesson, the last one in. And immediately, problems for Viveca. She's had problems all weekend. Tony takes the win, runs a 5:36. The team are absolutely ecstatic. Viveca loses out. She was slowing at the top end, 8.57.
Tony, first win for you in a long time.
That's true. We won last year here at Mantorp against Peter Lance in the final. And now we decided we should run one race this year, and this was it.
So does this make you want to race more? Seeing as though you've just done so well today.
Of course, but lack of money, and we already decided in the team that we should take it slow this year, and we'll see what happens next year.
So much potential in you in this car.
That's true, but we want to have equipment so we can go faster, and we won't go on and race just with bad stuff. We want to have good stuff to race, or we can stay at home.
Now that car is steaming away there. They've got fire extinguishers onto it. What happened?
Well, we said when we put up the engine, otherwise we should win or we're going to blow up the engine. We win and we blow up it a little bit.
Viveca, very disappointing final for you.
Yeah, I mean, we dropped cylinders again. And I felt, I think it was tire shakes too, and yeah, I felt that it was something wrong. So it was nothing to do. It's better to take care of the rest of the parts. So I'm happy for Tony, because last year he was number 2, I think, in the Swedish Championship, yeah. So, but maybe next time, and of course we should be happy, because this is my first final at Mantorp Park.
Okay, here are the points then. Jens Nybo is out in front, 1,670 points, just up his exhaust pipe there. Viveca Averstedt, 50 points adrift. Anything can happen at our next meeting. It's been a great weekend here at Mantorp Park. We're looking forward to Hockenheim, where the German on his home turf, Rico Antes, will certainly be looking for victory.